Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first Zoom edition of the Weekly Stoke with our honorary guest, Team X. I'm so excited to have you guys on the call today, and I think it's going to be super fun introducing you to all of our loyal fan base here at Sync Performance, and also talk about how this season has really started off as completely not normal. So, before we get into all that fun stuff, let's start with some introductions. Can one of you explain what is Team X? What do you guys, the goal of the program, and then really how you're shaping way for female ski racers?
Team X is a small women's team that is trying to provide like an alternative route to the World Cup outside of the national team. All of us, I can say our goal is to become like consistent World Cup skiers and ultimately, win overall globes, be on the podium, and we're trying to show that there is hope for girls out there that if they don't make the national team right off the bat when they're young and they choose to go the college route, that there is still a path for them to get to the end goal of being a World Cup skier.
Yeah, I think that what this team is really founded upon is super important. And so making sure that we share that with all of the people out there, especially our sync followers, is crucial. But more importantly, we need to know you guys, the face behind Team X. So, does one of you want to start it off with a little introduction? Of course, with the easy stuff like name, where you're from, and like your favorite event. But then we can spice it up a little bit with favorite ice cream and cool trick, and then finally the one item from Sync that you can't travel without.
Well, I'll go first. My name is Madison Hoffman, and I am from Sydney, Australia. And my favorite event is probably slalom, but I do like GS every now and then. Um, my favorite ice cream is Ben and Jerry's fish food, and a cool trick I can do is I have touch my fingers back to my thumb back to my wrist, which is kind of random.
Show us.
Can go all the way back. And then my favorite sync, like my favorite sync thing is the jacket I'm wearing, which is the training shell. It's nice and warm for those cold training days.
Perfect. My thumb, no way. So that definitely is a cool trick. Who's next?
Storm's trying.
You're close, Stormy, not quite.
I'll go next. My name is Trisha Mangan. I'm from Buffalo, New York. My favorite event is probably Super G, but I like skiing them all. And favorite ice cream. I really like cookie dough, good old classic. And yeah, my favorite sync product is probably, I honestly love this t-shirt. It's for working out, it's great material, but I think on the hill, the puffy jacket that's like the stretch puffy is so comfortable and literally wear it every day. So that's another staple.
What's your cool trick, Trish?
I don't know what my cool trick is.
That's all right. Not everyone can have a cool trick where they can touch their thumb to their wrist. So.
Yeah,
super cool.
All right, and last but not least.
I am Storm Clumhouse. I am from Boulder, Colorado. My favorite event depends on the day. It's either slalom or GS, one or the other. Can't really do anything cool like Trish.
Stormy.
I'm above average unicycler. And my favorite ice cream is birthday cake ice cream. And my favorite sync product is, it's actually new this year. It's their women's warm-up down top. So this entire part is down, and then the sleeves are like this really thin material. It's really nice for like training GS because it's really warm here, but you don't get gate marks or like ruin the down part on the arms. So using that a lot nowadays.
Perfect. So now that everybody knows who you are, it's going to be crucial that we do our part on our end to make sure that we follow you guys along the rest of the season. So now that we're through introductions, let's get into the real topic of the hour. Let's say this year has been nuts. There's been a lot going on. Nothing's been normal. How have you guys gotten through it? How are you making the most of this time?
I think something that like last year with me coming back from an injury, I like definitely had this perspective of being grateful like every single time I just like clicked into my skis. And I feel like this year, especially like any day that we're training, I'm like, okay, like I don't know necessarily when the next time we're going to be training is. Like, even if we have a plan, like I feel there's just this sense of gratitude with everything being up in the air that like, oh, I've got to make the most of like each training day. So it's kind of been nice to like have that like appreciation for the little things.
Yeah, going along with what Maddie and Trish were saying, there's just so many things out of our control this year, but one of the things, like one of the only things we can control is how hard we're working and just becoming as good of a skier as we can become every day in training. That's like one of the only things I think we can control this year. So really focusing on that has been super key for me as well.
So, kind of the underlying message from all of your takeaways so far is how important mindset is. A lot of kids right now are getting thrown into races and having them canceled or postponed. And so, a good mindset seems crucial. So, do you guys have a certain thing that, other than seizing the day, that you do to just make sure you keep your head on straight and you're able to keep moving forward without getting too frustrated?
I think for me, I like try my when I like feel myself getting really frazzled, I try like center myself in a way and not like start, I call it time traveling, where like I either like think too far in the future or I like hold on to something that's been like very far in the past. And it definitely, I was speaking with some of like fellow skiers, I think COVID is especially hard for us because we're pretty used to having our season all planned out in like October. And it it's definitely challenging to like not know what you're doing a week like in the next week, when usually we know what we're doing for like 4 months in advance. But just trying to like tell myself like, okay, just be where your feet are, or like where are you right now, and like kind of just like centered myself on the present, which definitely is hard, but trying to.
I like that
Mm-hmm.
time traveling. That's a really cool way to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
I think that something that I've been trying to do that's been helping is like journaling more. So writing down like, okay, what am I trying to accomplish each of the training days? Because with more training, I think it's easy for me to get in a trap of like skiing for a month and being like, what did I just accomplish? And if I kind of write down my goals daily and like check back in on them, then it makes me feel like I'm still being productive.
Yeah, I mean, along with those, it's been a really hard year because everything's constantly changing. There's a lot of stuff you can't control and a lot of races you can't always be at. But I think just for me, realizing what a fortunate situation I'm in and how lucky I am to even be skiing at all has been like really a lot more beneficial than I thought it would be in previous years. You know, this year especially, I just feel really, really lucky to have training and get to ski as much as I do. I think it's really important to remember that when the plans are always changing and things you might not be able to race as much as you want this year.
Yeah, you're definitely making the most, nothing for granted. So, as we're wrapping towards the end of December, which is crazy in itself, and moving into 2021, there is light ahead, hopefully. What are you guys thinking as we move into the new year? Do we have any plans yet? Any races that you're targeting, or any time in Europe, maybe?
We, as of now, the plan is we're actually heading back to Colorado tomorrow, to do a bit of a GS block. There's really good slalom training here in Park City, but we're going back to Colorado to get some GS in before we head over to Europe, and we'll be racing some Europa Cups. And then depending on how those go, we're going to be over there for at least like 3 weeks racing those, and then everything's kind of a little bit up in the air after that. I personally will try target World Juniors this year, but I'm not 100% sure what goes on after that.
Yeah, sounds like a good plan.
One day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did just get some snow out here in Colorado, so we'll be psyched to see you guys out on the slopes near us. So finally, as we move into the last question, it's really important at Sync that we focus on the athletes, and that's the athletes from the beginners and the ones in our development all the way up to you guys who are racing World Cup and pursuing skiing at the highest level possible. So what do you say to all these young girls that are looking up to you on ways that they can continue to develop? What is some advice that you would want to give them?
I mean, I would just say that, you know, always keep in mind that there's no time limit on what you're trying to do, you know, like I think that's kind of the point of our team a little bit also, like not making the national team at a really young age does not mean you can't do it. Like there's no time limit on your goals. So even though you feel like crunched for time and crunched to get these results in a certain amount of time and years, that's just not accurate in any way. So just focus on what you can control and on getting better, and just know, yeah, there's no time limit on those things.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys, and I hope that you had fun as much as I did. And to everybody out in the Sync Performance community, Happy New Year, and we look forward to a strong 2021, and I'll catch you all next week on the Weekly Stoke. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,